Hello, friends of Miro. We call it Miro in our region. Hey, if your go-to-market strategy looks a little bit like everything is burning around you and you're trying to be okay, you definitely came to the right place. My name is Maja Voje, and today I'm briefly going to take you through mysteries of go-to-market journeys, which is so different from big companies to the small ones. After spending a decade working with all sorts of organizations, I quickly realized that if you have a bootstrap startups, for example, that go-to-market decisions are done entirely differently than if you are, for example, a corporate. But they all comes down to like three very specific questions. The first one is, who's my target audience? Whom should I be targeting? The second one is, how much should I charge? What's the price tag that I should put on it? And cheaper is not necessarily better. So yeah, this is ambiguity of the pricing arena. And the third one is, which marketing channel should I be choosing for this endeavor? As every economist ever, I will tell you that it depends on what? First of all, it all depends on your target audience because their willingness to pay and their channel preference, as well as the product that you are building in order to achieve product market fit, will be entirely different from one segment to another. And especially if you are very scarce on resources with your go-to-market journey, it's not the best idea to really scatter them in multiple different directions and try to be Nutella that everybody's gonna love you, because it may happen that nobody will really be in love with you. So just like this strategy of dispersion is not the winning one. Much better chance is the beachhead strategy. Beachhead strategy is derived from military strategy, and it's all about selecting the specific segment in which you have the best chances to win, and then find an adjacent segment where those references that you created previously will help you to penetrate the next one and the next one and the next one. Everything is beautifully aligned towards ultimately winning the market. Sounds good? Definitely. So which segment to choose? That's the question that we have to tackle next. I have a beautiful spreadsheet here, and it comes down to certain criteria of what is a possible beachhead segment for you. The first one is just this sanity check, right? Based on your resources, do you have a fair chance to winning it within your lifespan of GTM strategy, which is usually 3 to 18 months, but for a majority of us, it's a quarter or two. The second one is the pain level. So is there a burning pain to solve the problem that you are trying to solve for your segment? And if you have a sales conversation, which are a little bit more, yeah, your product looks fantastic, but maybe next quarter, because right now I don't have a budget, you might end up with like gazillion pipeline, but very little money on the bank account, which is never good, especially not good if you're a bootstrap company. And that leads us to the next thing that should be checked: willingness to pay. They might love it, but will they pay for it? And overall, we are progressing towards securing that we are operating on a healthy market that will enable us to grow segment by segment. I don't want to bore you too much with details, but very, very interesting to me. So if you would like to get this spreadsheet, just DM me on LinkedIn, find me everywhere, and I will send it to you. No problem. But the ground logic is as such. If you would just like shoot the beachhead segment from your head, you might be wrong. And if you're wrong, it can be very fatal. So a very much more appropriate way how to select an ultimate beachhead segment is to first have a couple of candidates of what the segments are, maybe 10, then to narrow it down based with some ranking on another measuring instrument on 3 to 5 candidates that you would like to empirically check, and later on decide what the perfect beachhead segment is for you. And I'll show you how it is done in practice. I ran 2 experiments, 2 tests to test the target audience for my book. Experiment number 1 was to just like record a Loom video and send it to approximately 50 people, which were very strategically selected. Based on what they said back, I came up with a really, really, really interesting conclusion. I did the mapping and interview analysis in Miro, of course, because that's my second brain. But I did realize that there are some people who absolutely, yes, this makes sense. We need this. Shut up and take my money. And these were literally like SaaS founders, technical people, product managers, and some marketeers and growth experts that like to have a little bit more broader perspective perspective than just like channels. Then there were some people who were like, Maya, don't give up, it's fine, you're doing great. And two audiences that I could definitely not serve well with my concepts, these are e-commerce and B2C app makers, because just like the ultimate selection of everything would be so much more difficult. But I didn't satisfy it with 50 people, and just like running this bullshit experiment, I needed to push harder. After I implemented findings of my research to the new landing page for the book, the conversion rate skyrocketed. Before, it was very mellow, and I was almost depressed that people didn't like my book. So that's the first screenshot. But the second one, after I surgically selected these examples and just like adjusted look and feel of that very specific audience to the book and to the pitch, I managed to attract 1,000 people with 2 posts from LinkedIn, and the conversion rate was whooping 50%. That made me feel a lot better, and I finally managed to construct this GTM model, which literally has an objective and alignment to target audience at the heart of these interests. What else is important on this journey is that we are aligned when it comes to mission and vision, and that we are prioritizing based on mission critical things. So right now for me and my team, it's mission critical that we sell 2,000 copies of the book by the end of the year. And all the bullshit ideas such as we should be doing TikToks and whatnots are beautifully prismed and filtered out through this perspective. The second one, as I showed on these 2 examples that I was doing, is that experimentation consists of 2 parts. The first one is more of assumption mapping, and just like assumption testing, doing research and not necessarily being that scientifically relevant and significant yet. But the second one is pure as experimentation, when you have to provide a solider proof that something is going to work, and these processes are beautifully interconnected in a loop. If you would like to continue this conversation, you are welcome to download free chapter from GTM Strategies book that I spent a year working on, interviewing some cool companies, including Miro, Amplitude, Figma, and whatnots. And I would just love to hear your feedback, because this science is not taught in business school. We are co-creating it together on the field. So if you are up to join this mission, definitely get in touch, download the chapter, and good luck on your GTM journey and elsewhere. Maya out. Enjoy the conference.